Recording.
Ooh.
Wow, busy.
It is really. I thought you'd all be down the pub.
I think that's probably my fault. I scared you on that one. We just have nearly got everybody from the waiting room. Just to introduce myself, I'm Beth. I'm one of Katie's archangels, and I will be helping out with the technical side of things. Just to let you know, Katie is recording so that she can post this for any angels who have decided that the inside of the pub is the most appealing prospect after drinking outside in the freezing cold and the pouring rain for the last month or so. And just to let you know, on a technical note, everybody is currently on mute. When we get to the question section at the end, if anybody does have any questions, if you can use the raise your hand function to let me know that you've got a question, I can then unmute you so you can ask any questions that you have for Katie and Jean-Marc. So I will hand over to Katie for the tasting, and if you've got any tech issues, I will try and help.
Thank you so much, Beth. And I just noticed Mum and Dad are there in Ashby de la Zouch, so I'll just do a quick wave to my mum and dad I haven't seen for ages. Lovely to see you, Mum and Dad. And thank you so much for joining us this evening. So me and Jean-Marc, we're going to have a quick taste of a nice rosé to bring the sunshine back into your lives. And then just have an update on where we are in the vineyard, where I've based my special project, Sunshine After the Rain. So if you remember the Sunshine After the Rain, as I was runner-up in the Winemaker of the Year at Naked Wines, I was allowed to make my very special wine. And the idea behind it is that I'm going to make a red wine like a Fitu, but based on the very original recipe of Fitu. And that dates back to 1948. And in 1948, you were actually allowed to add Macabeu, which is a white grape, in with the red grapes. So we're building up to that. The harvest feels like it's only just around the corner at the moment. And we'll be showing you some photos. Those of you who haven't been able to join us on the Insta Live, we've got some photos of the update in the vineyard. But first of all, I think we could do with a drink. What do you think? We can. So this evening we have, did anybody have a bottle of this in the fridge or in the wine rack? It's the Me and Monsieur Jones Rose. Oh no, it's on its way. It will be with you very soon. The next shipment has left our winery, so it's on its way, and it's the Me and Monsieur Jones pink or rosé. So let's have a look. Cheers. It's only Monday as well. So look firstly at the colour. Lovely, clear, bright, very delicate colour on there. Not too dark, but nice and clear. Take a little sniff. Get hints of strawberries. I get strawberries already. And then Jean-Marc's gone in for drinking. And then swirl it around and get some air into the wine so that the flavors really come out. And a big inhale, and lovely, so much more concentrated. It's strawberries, raspberries, a bit of rose petals. There's something quite floral in there too. And then take a sip. Another sip.
Speak and I drink.
Yeah. So Jean-Marc just says carry on talking and I'll just carry on drinking here in the background. He's had a busy day filling in a big French administrative file on the computer for his vineyards in order to get grants from Europe. So it's the Common Agricultural Policy, remember that, in the UK, that he's been filling in all afternoon. So I think that's why.
And I don't like it.
You don't like it, no. So lovely, the flavor's really fresh. So the grape varieties on this one is Carignan. So Carignan, quite an unusual grape variety to make rosé from, but I love Carignan rosé because it's got a lovely freshness.
Ouais. Mais en fait, le Carignan, c'était pas très utilisé parce qu'à l'origine, c'est pas très aromatique. Mais ici, on a des faibles rendements et on arrive à faire des choses intéressantes entre l'acidité et les arômes.
So originally it wasn't used that much because there wasn't that much fruit flavor in the Carignan. But here, because we have such small yields, so we're able to get a lot more concentration from it. And also we add in a tiny bit of Grenache, which is very fruity, and also some muscat. And it's the muscat which is really aromatic and really, really gives it that lovely floral side to it. So it's been a lovely sunny day down here, a little windy again still, but really it's nice to have a little sip of rosé. So one more sip and then we'll go to our sunshine after rain vineyard. Okay, so last time we joined you, which was about a month ago, on the 7th of April, we just had that horrendous frost. So I thought I'd just take you back and show you a few, well, just 2 pictures of where we are today in Jean-Marc's vineyard. If you remember last time, it's completely black because there was just nothing there, just been completely burnt. So I'm just going to share the screen, so bear with me. Here we go. So it's me and Jean-Marc, that's what we've just been doing, having a drink. So here we are, Jean-Marc. Perhaps I'll show that. Bring the mic closer to you, and perhaps you can just explain. I took this photo this morning.
Ouais, les vignes sont principalement sur la droite. Et en fait, on voit sur la première parcelle qui est une Syrah, ça commence à repousser un peu. Et sur le Carignan, encore, c'est très, très petit.
So Jean-Marc's vineyards, I actually took a photo of the wrong vineyards, he told me when I got back. So the first strip isn't his vineyard, the one with the grass in. It starts on the sort of middle of the photo, and that's the Syrah. Is that right? Yeah, that's the Syrah. And you can just see, can you just make out some nice leaves? So there are some little shoots really just starting to show. I mean, it's a long way. We'll see some photos in a minute of where we are in other vineyards in terms of leaves and foliage. But then if you look in the distance, you can see it's just black. The Carignan, that was the one that was completely hit. So still only small signs of growth on the Carignan.
Là, les quelques pousses, il y a des raisins sur quelques pousses. Alors, on va voir plus tard ce que ça va donner.
So that you've actually seen grapes on there. Wow.
Sur quelques pousses, il y a quelques raisins.
Exciting. So Jean-Marc, I mean, I don't think he's been in this vineyard for a while. He just doesn't feel comfortable going into it yet. But there are some small bunches, and hopefully we will get something from this vineyard. And we did have an idea. Of doing, after we've just had rosé, this would be perfect for making a rosé because we're going to get a smaller yield, and what we get won't ripen. It's not going to have the chance to ripen as much as it would normally. So you get a lovely fresh acidic style of wine, which is great for a base for a rosé. Yes, what do you think?
It's early for no, but maybe.
Maybe. So we're thinking sunshine after frost could be an idea, and use Jean-Marc's grapes to make a rosé, and perhaps put a little bit of spritz in it as well, just something a little bit festive, a little bit spritzy in there too. So there is sunshine after the frost after all. And this is a close-up. This is his vineyard, so you can hopefully make out a bit better the leaves on the Syrah in the foreground, and then as you look towards the background, still quite sort of black, not that much foliage to see really. But it's early days yet, and we are.
Un peu tôt encore.
It's a bit early to know, but we're hopeful that we will be able to make a rosé, a sparkling rosé from these vines. And then, so let's get back to the Sunshine After Rain project. And this is when we visited the vineyard the first time this year. So this is February time. And you can see the vines here, wintry, no leaves. They've just been pruned. And this is a close-up of those. I just think they're wonderful, these old vines. You can see the shapes of them. These are the macabre here, and the different shapes. They're all gnarly, twisted, and all have their own stories to tell. And then literally half an hour ago, I went up into the vineyard and took this photo. So this is almost from the same viewpoint up there. It's almost from the bench, you know, that we have our romantic bench in this vineyard where Jean-Marc proposed to me. And this is where we are with the leaves today. So what do you think, Jean-Marc? You happy with them?
Yeah, for the moment, yes. It's, là, il y a une jolie sortie.
So he says there's a good sortie in French, so a good amount of grapes.
Et maintenant, on va peut-être attendre un peu, voir que ça pousse, et puis on va essayer de les protéger contre les sangliers. Normalement, cette semaine.
Oui, on va. Ouais.
OK, on m'arrête.
Hold on, we're not there yet. So, and this is a closer up of the leaves. And can you see the bunches of grapes? Il y a des raisins.
Ben là, on en voit un qui sort ici.
So if you look at the top, towards the top of that vine, where you've got the new shoots, oh yeah, you can actually see the bunches of grapes. They're sort of a little bit darker in the shadow on the top. They're the tiny little bunches of grapes. And in the foreground as well, if you have a look on the leaves on the right-hand side of the photo, you've just got the little tiny bunches that are already forming there. And do you know what grape variety it is? Can you tell?
Carignan.
Oh, it's obviously, it's Carignan. So Jean-Marc knows, I think, every single vine in every one of our vineyards. And this is Carignan. How can you tell it's Carignan?
La forme de la feuille. Et la couleur et la forme de la feuille.
Et c'est quoi dans la forme de la feuille qui fait...
C'est une forme qui est découpée, on voit qu'il est légèrement gaufré.
So he can recognize Carignan because of the embossed style of the leaves and also the indented. You see, it's really indented around the edge of the leaves. And there's also distinct lobes. There's 5 distinct lobes on those. So when you're all going to come and visit us down here in Touchant and we go up to see this vineyard, you can have a look at the vines and you'll be able to pick them out like Jean-Marc does. And here, this is the macabre. So in this particular vineyard, we've actually got 5 different parcels of vine in a very small area. And there's 5 different types of grapes. This is the macabre. We just saw the Carignan. Would you be able to tell that was macabre?
Comment?
Tu pouvais savoir que c'était du macabre? Si je te disais pas.
C'est un peu plus difficile.
We might have stumped him on that. A bit more difficult to tell it's macabre.
Sur cette photo, on voit que ce n'est pas du Carignan, mais j'aurais dit peut-être ou Grenache ou Macabre.
Yeah, Grenache or Macabre. No. But so the leaves have really come a long way. It's definitely springtime here. So the work that we've been doing in the vineyard, peut-être tu veux expliquer un peu ce qu'on a fait comme travail? Because this is where it all starts happening now. As soon as those leaves come out, we have to start work in the vineyard.
Mais en fait, là, on est en train de débroussailler manuellement parce que ces vignes sont plantées très étroits. On ne peut pas passer, même avec le petit tracteur, même avec le mignon, on ne peut pas.
So you may wonder what this man is doing. This is Sebastian who works for us. And he's actually going weeding. And in this particular vineyard, the vines are planted so close together that we can't even get our little tractor in between the rows. So those of you who followed, you know we have a little tractor called Mignon, and he's just the width of a horse, so he can get through these old vines. But the vines up here are actually planted so closely together that the only way that we can weed is actually by hand. So we're not actually pulling the weeds out yet, but Sebastian was up there with a strimmer and actually strimming in between all the alleyways and in between all of the vines. Et il en a mis un peu de temps quand même.
Tous les travaux manuels sont très longs, sur 2 jours.
2 jours. So Sebastian took 2 days to get to trim those 5 little plots of vines. And that was 2 people for 2 days to weed that vineyard, so very labor intensive. And when I saw him, he was like, oh, I ache so much, because actually holding up the strimmer is quite a heavy tool to use. And he was like, oh no, hurry up and finish. But just did you notice the view in the background? So that is the Toche mountain, and it's when I drove back this evening, it looks like a blancmange. It's like an upside down jelly in those old jelly molds. It's got like little hillocks around, or humps around the edge of it, and it rises to 900 meters. But this vineyard up here has just got the most amazing view. And Pina Colada is the dog as well, if you're wondering. And what else? What other work has been done up there?
Il faut les protéger cette année principalement contre l'oïdium, donc avec le soufre.
So we've also been powdering the vines to protect them against odium. So this year this year's good so far because we don't have any pressure from mildew. So mildew is, if you followed us last year, at this time it was raining basically every single day. It rained for about a month, and we had mildew for the first time ever almost down here in Touchon. This year it's a lot drier. So the only fungal disease that we're powdering or spraying for at the moment is odium. And is that done with a tractor up here? Do you get Mignon here? Comment tu le fais?
Le premier traitement, on l'a fait manuellement avec la machine sur le dos.
Yeah. So and that's with a backpack. So here he's done the strimming, and that was actually a couple of days after he'd been around all of the vines with a backpack on, powdering them with sulfur to protect them against odium.
And next time we do with the tractor.
And next time we get the tractor in. Woohoo. Woo. So moving on, and so you may think, oh, another vine. Thanks, Katie. We've seen quite a lot of vines in this presentation, but if you look at the bottom of the vine, you can see this is wild boar damage. So they've actually been scuffling around. What are they looking for? Something to eat or something?
Là, ils mangent soit de la vermine, soit des racines.
So they eat the roots of plants or little worms, and they cause massive holes in the vineyards just by scraping up the earth and looking for things to eat. And which brings us quite nicely on what Jean-Marc was saying
it was a
earlier.
big wild boar because it's dry. The soil is dry and is.
Did he lie in it? Do you think? Il s'est allongé?
No. Il a creusé avec son nez.
Oh, they dig it with their nose, so you know it was a big wild boar that dug this hole. Ooh. So really big wild boars in the garrigue next to it. So which brings us on to the work we need to do in the future, or in the very near future, to protect that vineyard, and that's actually putting up a fence. So just to show you why we haven't put a fence up at the moment in this vineyard, this is an aerial shot of the it's actually 4 parcels here that are within the red line, and this is to show you where we have to try and get a wild boar fence up to stop them getting into the vineyard. So it's not just let's go out and knock in a few poles and put a wire between it, because it's so stony that it's really difficult to bang anything into the ground. So even putting up a fence is going to be a bit of a headache for Jean-Marc. Et tu vas mettre la clôture électrique et l'autre, ou?
Cette année, on n'aura pas le temps de mettre les deux, on mettra juste la clôture électrique.
Okay, because usually in some vineyards we put a permanent fence, and then we also put in an electric fence, so we have a double fence. But Jean-Marc says this year, at the moment, there's no fence there at all. So this year we only have time to put up the electric fence, but at least there will be an electric fence to stop the wild boar getting in and nibbling at the grapes later on. But even that work, to do that is, combien de temps ça va prendre pour?
Je sais pas.
He doesn't want to think about it. But he did have an idea, because c'était quoi ça?
Là, ce sont les chasseurs qui ouvraient des sentiers le dimanche dernier.
So this was last Sunday. Jean-Marc went up to this vineyard to have a look, and the hunters, the wild boar hunters, were up there, and they were actually clearing their sort of little tracks, their hunting paths that they use.
pour après pouvoir utiliser les chemins pour se poster, pour chasser.
Yeah, that's so that the hunters can get to where they need to their posts a lot easier, more easily. Et ça t'a donné l'idée
Non, ouais, disons que j'ai discuté avec eux et comme ils utilisent parfois des gros engins pour débroussailler, donc ils m'ont donné l'adresse de la personne qui peut venir débroussailler
Donc ça peut
avec
aider.
la grosse machine. Ouais.
So hopefully, when Jean-Marc was up there, there's a man with a really big tractor who was actually going through and clearing all of these paths for the hunters. So he's got his address and phone number, and Jean-Marc's going to give him a ring soon to see if he could come in and just clear the pathway around the vines where we just saw that where we're going to put the fence. So we need the tractor to come in to actually clear all of that area so that we can then actually get the fence up and stop those wild boar getting in and nibbling away at the vines. So that's that. We're going to come back. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. So that's giving you, just showing you what we're up to at the moment in the vineyard and the work that we need to be doing. The growing season is going well at the moment, apart from obviously the frost, but generally, generally good. And now if anybody has any questions or would like to know anything in particular about anything, either the Sunshine After Rain project, I've also created a group on Facebook. So on Facebook, not on Facebook, on the Naked Wines website. So there is a group now called Sunshine After Rain that you can join and we can have discussions. And I put all the videos up there and photos.
If anybody does have any questions, if you could use the raise hand function, just so I can see you, so I can unmute anybody who does have any questions for Katie.
No question.
Can't see anybody at the moment.
Okay.
Quiet crowd tonight. Either that or everybody's going to the pub at 7:30. It might be that people have got reservations at 7:30.
It could be, it could be. I can see that Karen's got a lovely t-shirt on there, actually. Excellent, excellent. Well, if there's no questions and nothing else you'd like to... Oh, we've got Bill.
Hang on. Right. Let me try and find Bill. Sorry, I'm on the iPad tonight, guys, so I'm a little bit slower. There we go. Hang on. So, Bill, you should be able to unmute yourself now.
Yep. Okay,
Perfect.
thank you. Katie, can you just describe what is the odium that you were referring to? I've not heard of it before.
Yeah, odium. I think in the UK, it's both types are called mildew. So mildew, you get downy mildew and powdery mildew. Is that correct? Are there any gardeners amongst you? And we call them, the powdery mildew, we call odium. So it's actually powdery mildew, and odium is the other one. And they are, well...
Ça fait une poussière grise sur les feuilles.
And so to recognize it, it's almost like a powder, a grey powder on the leaves.
Les rosiers sont sensibles.
If you've got roses in your garden, they're really sensitive to that type of odium.
Oh, okay. Right, thank you.
And that's why people plant roses near their vineyards. If you've ever seen them more in Bordeaux and Burgundy, they plant roses at the end of the rose vine. And then because they're more susceptible to the mildew, you can see it, and the odium, you can see it on the roses first. But we don't have roses. Why don't we plant? Should we go and plant some roses on there?
No, la prochaine fois.
I think that might be next, next project.
You've got one more question. Graham's popped his hand up, so I'm just going to ask Graham to unmute. He should be able to do that now. Yeah, there we go.
Right. Hi, it's actually Graham's wife.
Sorry, I could only see your name.
No, it's okay. It's great. We watched together, but he's actually the member. You're fencing off the fields, which I completely agree with. You know, we all need wine. Is there other places that the boar can go to eat? Is there a way that they will be sustained as well as the wine?
Oh yes, definitely. Elle demande est-ce que les sangliers ils auront assez à manger si nous on met la clôture autour de la vigne?
Oui, pas de problème.
Yeah.
Est-ce que si on ne met pas la clôture, est-ce que nous aurons assez à manger?
Yeah, and Jean-Marc said, if we don't put the fence up, will we have enough to eat? Was his.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely. There's the wild boar. They eat lots of different things. They just get very greedy coming up to harvest with the bunches of grapes. But they eat acorns, and we have lots of oak trees here, little oak trees.
Par exemple, on a environ 6000 hectares sur la commune. Il y en a moins de 1000 qui sont cultivés.
So just to give you the example, there's 6,000 hectares of land around the village, like communal land. 1,000 hectares,
less than
1,000 hectares is either built on or vineyard. And so the wild boar have 5,000 hectares of what is their idyllic garrigue, it's known as scrubland, basically.
Ici, on a le chêne vert, le chêne kermès qui font des glands.
So we've got two types of oak
Et le
trees
chêne blanc.
that make that have acorns for the wild
Il y a
boar.
quelques châtaigniers dans certains
There's
coins.
some chestnut trees as well. So they
Il y a
get
des
to eat
raisins pendant les
chestnuts.
vendanges.
There's the grapes that they do get into to nibble during the
Mais
harvest.
non, il y a
So
suffisamment à manger.
So definitely, don't worry. There's definitely enough for them to eat elsewhere.
Perfect. So it's just being redirected.
Exactly. We're just pointing them in the right direction so that they don't come into the vineyard.
Super. As long as we get our wine and they get their food.
Exactly. Win-win.
There's been no more hands appeared at that point that I can see. So I think that's it, Katie. So over to you to say goodbye.
That's lovely. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. We did say it would be half an hour, and we're coming up to the half an hour. So thank you so much, and I hope you've enjoyed the quick update on the vineyard. I'm going to be out doing an Insta Live on this Thursday evening, live from the vineyard. So it will be on Naked Wine's Instagram. So I'll be out and you can actually come with me into that vineyard. So if you're not sure how to do it, just drop me a message either on the Naked page, and I'll let you know how to connect to Instagram and how to actually join us out in the vineyard on Thursday evening. So have a lovely evening. If you're going down the pub now, have a great time. We're really jealous, very jealous actually. And we'll see you next time.
Bonne soirée, bon appétit à tout le monde.
Bon appétit.
Thank you.
Bye, Mum and Dad. Bye.